Hey guys, my name is Matt. I'm a junior doctor working in London, and today I'm going to be talking about the recently announced changes to the UK Foundation Programme point scoring system, how that affects you, and whether you should or shouldn't still intercalate. So as many of you probably know by now, Health Education England has recently controversially announced changes to the UK Foundation Programme application. The main change is that additional degrees and publications will no longer count for points in the UK Foundation Programme application process from the year of 2023. To put it in another way, any additional degrees that you did before medical school, any intercalations or masters that you did between 4th and 5th year medical school, and any publications that you did with a PubMed ID will not count towards the points for your UK Foundation Programme applications. Whereas previously, out of an applicant's total of 100 points, 50 of that being from the SJT and 50 of that being from the Educational Performance Measure score, from that EPM score, 43 are from your decile, 5 are for additional degrees, and 2 from publications. And I actually made a video not too long ago talking about the actual UK Foundation Programme process and all the points breakdown, which I'll link somewhere in the description here. Essentially, the changes now are that the SJT has remained the same, but instead of the EPM consisting of those 3 things, it's made entirely of the 50 points for the decile ranking. The key points that you need to know from this are that essentially, number 1, your medical school decile ranking has become a lot more important in determining where you end up and what jobs you're doing for your UK Foundation Programme years. Number 2, the playing field has evened out. So regardless of whether you have tons of publications or you've done 2 separate degrees and an intercalation between medical school, everyone is judged on the same plane just by academic ranking and SJT. Number 3 is that these changes are only going to take place from the year 2023, affecting applicants from October 2022. And that means that anyone from a 3rd year medical student right now and below will be affected. HEE have recently published a letter talking about this, and they state that the reasons that they are doing this are because they see extra academic achievements as a poor differentiator, citing that essentially almost 70% of candidates actually have these extra academic achievements. So all in all, it's not making a big difference in terms of differentiating a student from another. They also cite equality as one of the main reasons, some students not being able to intercalate for financial or time reasons, and just some students not having opportunities to engage in publications or research. So I wanted to share my thoughts on this, having been through the UK Foundation Programme process once myself and then going through again to make the video. Well, it certainly de-incentivizes doing the extra year for an intercalation, as well as just doing research while you're a medical student, because obviously the benefit from the Foundation Programme applications is no longer there. I think these changes are probably good in the long run because the medical system needs to move away from a very points-oriented system and rewards-based system. What I think is more important in medicine is to build a genuine interest or passion in a certain subspecialty or topic within medicine that you genuinely do want to do research in or pursue a separate degree in. So these changes would probably result in people less likely to do it just for the sake of doing intercalation. However, I am really not a huge fan at all of the timing of this, and especially the fact that they're rolling it out in October 2022 for 23. Because that affects current medical students who have already made plans, who've maybe already applied for intercalations or done intercalated degrees and are actively doing research for these points. Would it really have been that difficult for Health Education England to have implemented it maybe a bit later on, like 2025? Or if they're finally rolling it out now, maybe even giving us a little bit more notice. Regardless though, it's important to remember that these changes are only for the UK Foundation Programme applications themselves. And as I always try to reinforce, that's just 2 years of your life. And regardless of where you go and what jobs you do, you're still gonna have a great time and you're gonna learn lots because it is a standardized training program. So, if you are a current or aspiring medical student, you may still be wondering, should I intercalate? Is it still worth it to intercalate? Although it is still a fairly personal decision, I would say, let's go through the reasons that you should and what it can bring you. Things that a year doing an intercalation can do for you. A year out of medicine, which for some people might be bliss. Sometimes people might think that medicine moves too fast. You can get some perspective in a different medical discipline or field, such as biomedical sciences or genomic engineering, which if that's something that you're really interested in learning more about, can be really beneficial to your career. You get even more letters in front of your name, which some people are a bit obsessed about. And actually, one other thing that has been fairly overlooked this time around with all the anxiety around the changes in the UK Foundation application program is that these intercalated degrees and masters and additional degrees do still count towards specialty applications, which are probably the more important application process. If you look at these tables and graphs here, both core surgical training and internal medical training take into account additional degrees and publications. So these things that have been discounted from the foundation program applications do still count for the specialty applications. However, it is important to bear in mind that actually in these applications, the interview probably weighs up more than 60 or 70% of the overall application scoring. So it can make a difference, although not a huge one. Let's talk about the things you'd be sacrificing. Well, a year of your life, and I guess that means a year of finances, so things such as housing, sustenance and school fees, and also just shifting medical school cohorts. So going down a year, sometimes that might mean that if you're not with a group of friends that are also intercalating, you might need to make a new group of friends. So the bottom line is that there are pros and cons between intercalating, but it is a decision that only you would be able to make. Obviously, the incentive for doing so has gone down slightly. However, in the grand scheme of things, it is still a valuable experience if it's something that you're interested in. It will make a difference in your specialty applications, although not a huge one. So just weigh up the pros and cons and see if it's something that you are able to afford, time and finance-wise. So what is my advice? Well, personally, I would say that if you were only going to do an intercalated degree for the points for applications or just to take a year out, I would say that there are probably better points down your career to do both of them, to be honest. Both can be done much more easily when you graduate. For example, you can always do a master's after your F1, F2 once you made a bit of money, and you can take a break between your foundation and specialty training programs. So not being within university definitely gives you that flexibility to open yourself up to a wider range of options. I think that there are definitely other ways to make up for that when you're applying for specialty training, such as through quality improvement projects, leadership, and teaching opportunities. You don't need that intercalated degree to bring you up to make you more competitive. I would say that if you are intercalating, you should definitely try and find something that you are really interested in that will allow you to take your career somewhere different or learn about a subspecialty that you wanted to learn about. Find something that you are passionate about, because then it will just make the whole year so much more enjoyable and worthwhile for you. So I just thought I'd end this by sharing my personal experiences. I am a FY2 doctor currently. I didn't intercalate, and I am actually hoping to do a master's next year in healthcare technologies. The reason I didn't intercalate, I go through in a separate video, but essentially I didn't because, first of all, nothing caught my eye in particular that I was really interested in, and second of all, just finances, and I just wanted to graduate and start working as a doctor ASAP, essentially. I'm actually really glad that it's worked out this way, because now I found a master's and a discipline that I'm really passionate about, healthcare technology and 3D printing, and devoting a year out to work on this solely while maybe doing some clinical work on the side is a really exciting prospect for me. So I'm super excited for next year. But anyways, I hope this was useful, and feel free to leave any questions that you might have down in the comments section. You can check out some of my other videos as well about the UK Foundation Programme process and life as a junior doctor, which I'll leave in the description down below for you. Don't forget to press the subscribe button so you can see when I release my video next. And I would love it if you could smash that like button. It helps me out tons, YouTube algorithm stuff, blah, you know. Otherwise guys, that is it for now, and I will see you in the next video.